Today is Friday, November 26. My name is Pastor Anthony, and this is Wilderness Wanderings. Today our text comes from Isaiah chapter 6. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord, high and exalted, seated on a throne, and the train of his robe filled the temple. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? And I said, Here I am, send me. He said, Go. That's Isaiah chapter 6, verses 1, 8, and the first couple words of verse 9. This is another text that has been rattling around in my head over the past few months. I think because I get the strong sense that the sovereign Lord is on the move in our world today, despite the fact that it feels like all else may be crumbling around us. That was precisely the context of Isaiah's call to ministry. King Uzziah, also called Azariah in 2 Kings 14, verse 21, had reigned in Jerusalem for 52 years at the time of his death. He was the only king that many people had ever known, much like Queen Elizabeth is for many of us in the commonwealth today. And as her death will be the symbolic yet definitive end of an era, so King Uzziah's death would have been in Judah. During Uzziah's reign over Judah, the kingdom of Assyria began to rise in power in the east, even as political unrest plagued the northern kingdom of Israel. The cold winds of change had begun to blow through the kingdoms of the world, even though Uzziah's presence kept a sense of stability in the land. Not long after Uzziah's death, Assyria would strike, conquering and exiling the kingdom of Israel. So it was at this shift of the epoch, when all the old institutions began to crumble and give way, that Isaiah sees his vision. But the vision he sees is not necessarily what the astute philosopher or political scientist of the day would have seen. In the year that King Uzziah died, Isaiah does not see civilization crumbling around him. No, he sees the Lord, high and exalted, still seated on his throne, the temple scarcely large enough to hold his royal presence and garments. Lowly Isaiah steps into the presence of the true King of all the earth, gripped with fear and suddenly aware of his impurity and sheer ineptitude. But with fire from the altar he was cleansed and made ready to stand in the King's presence. Then boomed forth the voice of the Lord, Whom shall I send? Here I am, send me, replied Isaiah. Go, came the response. In these days of much weariness and swirling anxieties, when it feels like the world we once knew might be giving way, these words come to each one of us again, to remind us that the Lord Almighty is still on the throne, and that we are firstly citizens of His kingdom, not of Canada or any other country. Though the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, our God remains our refuge and strength. And our triune God still calls out to his people, saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Will you respond today? Will you go on this royal mission as an ambassador of Christ? Will you go out as sheep among wolves, shrewd as snakes and gentle as doves, to minister to your nation, neighbors, co-workers, and friends in his name? Advent begins this Sunday. As we journey through the season longing for the return of our King, I pray that you too will catch an Isaiah vision of Jesus on his throne, and that you too will hear the Spirit-breathed call to go in his name. As you journey on, go with the blessing of God. May the peace of the Lord Christ go with you wherever he may send you. May he guide you through the wilderness, protect you through the storm. May he bring you home rejoicing at the wonders he has shown you. May he bring you home rejoicing once again into our doors.